I'm Elsie Rogers, and today's reading is from Judges 14. Samson traveled down to Timnah. While he was in Timnah, a Philistine woman caught his eye. He went back home and told his father and mother, "A Philistine woman in Timnah caught my eye. Now get her for me as a wife." But his father and mother replied to him, "Is there no woman among your own relatives or among all our people that you have to go get a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines?" Yet Samson said to his father, "Get her for me because she's the one I want." His father and mother didn't know that the Lord was behind this. He was looking for an opening with the Philistines because they were ruling over Israel at that time. When Samson traveled down to Timnah with his father and mother, when he came to the vineyards in Timnah, suddenly a lone young lion came roaring to meet him. The Lord's Spirit rushed over him, and he tore the lion apart with his bare hands as one might tear apart a young goat. But he didn't tell his father and mother what he had done. When he traveled down and talked with the woman, she was the one Samson wanted. After a while, he came back again to marry her. He turned aside to look at the lion's remains, and there was a swarm of bees with honey inside the lion's skeleton. He scooped the honey into his hands, eating it as he continued along. When he got to his father and mother, he gave some to them, and they ate it too. But he didn't tell them that he had scooped the honey from the lion's skeleton. His father traveled down to the woman, and Samson put on a feast there, as was the custom for young men. When the townspeople saw him, they selected 30 companions to be with him. Then Samson said to them, "Let me tell you a riddle. If you can figure it out and tell me the answer within the 7 days of the feast, I'll give you 30 linen robes and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't tell me the answer, then it's you who have to give me 30 linen robes and 30 sets of clothes." So they replied to him, "Tell your riddle, let's hear it." He said to them, "Out of the eater there came something to eat. Out of the strong there came something sweet." For 3 days they couldn't tell the answer to the riddle. On the 4th day they said to Samson's wife, "Seduce your husband so he'll tell us the answer to the riddle, or else we'll set fire to you and your household. Were we invited here just to become poor?" So Samson's wife cried on his shoulder and said, "You hate me. You don't love me. You told a riddle to my people but didn't tell me the answer." He replied to her, "Look, I haven't even told the answer to my father and mother. Why should I tell it to you?" But she cried on his shoulder for the rest of the 7 days of the feast. Finally, on the 7th day, he told her the answer, for she had nagged him, and she told her people the answer to the riddle. So on the 7th day, before the sun set, the townspeople said to him, "What's sweeter than honey? What's stronger than a lion?" He replied to them, "If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, you wouldn't have figured out my riddle." When the Lord's Spirit rushed over him, and he went down to Ashkelon, he killed 30 of their men, stripped them of their gear, and gave the sets of clothes to the ones who had told the answer to the riddle. In anger, he went back up to his father's household, and Samson's wife married one of those who had been his companions.